Hello, Murphy. I just want to kind of go over what I'm going to do on your Jeep. I looked up and found you a USB port that I've got ordered that ought to be here any day now, that I'm going to put up under your dash. It'll give you 2 ports and a cigarette lighter adapter. And then you have the issue of the water leak inside the cab. So I went ahead and washed it off because it had a bunch of mud on it, and I'm fixing to work on this top, and I just didn't want all the mud in the shop. But while I was washing it, I got up under the dash, pulled the glove box out to see where all the water's coming from the inside. Well, where this body seam matches this body seam, when this was originally painted, it should have had a little seam sealer in there, because that's where the water's going, right in between these 2 panels. So really this one, and this one, all these should have been seam sealed. So not too big a deal now. I'll just have to go back and seam seal it with something clear. Before, would have had, like, if I would have done it, we would have pickled it and epoxied it and then seam sealed it and then put a sealer over that and then painted it. But in this case, it's too late for all that, so I'll just come in here. I've got a flowable clear sealer, and I'm going to pre-clean it and then put that sealer in it and let that flow into it. And if there's any places where it soaks all the way down in there and has a little debit, I'll just put one more little layer on it, come back in a day or so and put one more little layer over that, and that'll stop the water that's coming on your feet. Now there's some coming down the firewall on the other side behind the fuse block, so I'm going to pull the fuse block out and put some clear silicone around that on the inside and seal that off, and then we'll see how that does. There could be some water coming around this thing or something else, but I didn't see anything else at this point. Mainly it was just this seal right here. This one here is leaking pretty good down through there. And then while that's curing, I'm going to start on your top. So you found a top, but it didn't have the lower doors with it. And then you had these doors. So I took one of the doors, and I've already pulled all the material off of it, and it's pretty close. I mean, you know, it fits this real well. And I have to come up with a latch or something. I don't know if that top comes with the stripe, but I can come up with something, make something for that. And then it seems like it's going to match up somewhat. I'm going to have to cut these pin holes off and relocate them to match the top halves. So your top came with the top and the top half of the doors. And I'll show you how that looks, and then we'll work on getting this top put on. All right, here is all the boxing and stuff that I got your top out of, and all your hardware, post and cross members and stuff, and top out of the door, and it come with both side top doors. And then this is the frame I just had on there and was talking about, and these are just a little out of place, so I'm going to try to move them. Like this one I have to move over here and maybe add a little bit of a gusset or something to hold it, and this one needs to move a little bit, and this one move a little bit. So I'll probably put most of all this top up on there first, and then come back and set this, and then locate that, have these cut off and actually on here, and then set this door, and then just tack weld them in place, and then pull this off, and then make all that work. But it's a really nice top, and it came with a storage. You know, every piece has a storage bag to put all your parts back in and pieces in if you take it off, and one big large bag which is underneath here to store every bit of it. And then it's tinted. That's the rear and the sides. So very, very nice top so far. So let's see how this fits. We'll have to go around here and make everything. You don't have anything at all for the full top, just a little bimini top. Oh, here's the bag. So it comes with this real nice bag that zips up that will store the whole top when you have it off. So I like that. So I'm going to start putting this top together, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, Murphy, I've got this thing pre-cleaned, and then I taped it off so that I can get my sealant just right there and not on the paint. And then once I put it on there, I'll come back with some little towels and pre-cleaner on and try to clean off most of that, and then let that set and cure while I'm putting your top on. And then once that sets up a little bit more, I'll probably come back and put one more on it, because I know it's going to wick. I've got a flowable sealer on there, and it's going to wick down into that joint, and it should be a pretty good bond. But I'm trying my best to do everything I can to get it to adhese in there so you never have to address this problem again. So I'm going to go in there and blow that out real good down through there, and then put this sealer on. All right, Murphy, this is what I'm putting on there. It's a flowable Versachem sealant, silicone sealant, and it'll work its way down in there. But when I just got done blowing it out, you wouldn't believe how much stuff come out of there, and a lot of it was little rust particles. And so if we wouldn't have done this now, then all that oxidization and rust would have started bleeding back through, and it wouldn't be a year's time, and this would all be blistering and start rusting down through there. So this is a good treatment, and I'm glad I blew it out and pre-cleaned it and got all that knocked down. So this will make this last a lot longer. So I'm gonna take this. I got it cut where I can inject it down in there, and I'm gonna inject it down in there, and then come back with my finger and spread it down through there. Well, Murphy, that was a short-lived excitement there. I was hoping to get this top on here today. It was rolling along real good. To find out it's the wrong top. I didn't think to look at the end of the box. It says TJ on there instead of CJ, and got it all out, got it laid out, got my instructions out, and went to put the header panel on, and it didn't fit. So then I had to go and rebox every item, but I put every piece back in their sleeves, all the bolts back in the little bags, just like it was when it came here, and it's all wrapped up and ready to go back. And hopefully they'll get us a new one on the way. But I did get that sealed across the cowl area, and I'm fixing to go ahead and pull out this fuse panel right here where the wiring harness goes through the firewall, and I'll go ahead and get that sealed, and hopefully my USB charger will be here today. Maybe I can work on that a little bit, but boy, I'm so excited about getting this top on here today. So anyway, she's boxed up and ready to go home. All right, Murphy, now that I got the other top, we've got it on the way back and got a new one, should be here in a day or so. I did get your USB port in, and I'm going to wait for you to come in so we can locate it exactly where you want it. Sometimes people like it right there beside you where it's easy to plug in, but since yours is a stick shift, you might want it right up under the radio so that it's not right in the way of all your shifting and stuff. I don't know. I want you to come out and check it out, and we'll locate it where you want it. But while it's been here, I've noticed it's got a little drip under the rear differential. And last time it was here, that bottom of that rear differential cover had been hit and was bent all up. So I took it off and straightened it, and then sanded it all, pre-cleaned both sides. I put an RTV on it, let that set up for a couple of hours before I put fluid in it, just to make sure it didn't leak. Well, there's a drip under it again, and having the rear cover leak is a little more crucial than having a pinion seal leak. I thought that might be what it is, but a pinion seal leak will allow there to stay some fluid in the bottom of those gears all the time. It doesn't take a whole lot in there to keep that going from seizing up, but like the rear at the differential cover, it being the lowest point, it will eventually take all the fluid out of it. So it's driving me crazy, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull that cover back off. I know we talked about getting a new one because that was damaged, but there was no reason why the way I did it, it shouldn't have sealed that up completely. So I'm going to pull it off. Maybe I have to put a little gasket on it. Maybe it was just damaged so much it's just going to require a gasket and some RTV. But I'm going to yank it off there because it's driving me crazy seeing the little drips on the floor. Well, Murphy, I got your cover back off again, and it was actually glued on there so strong I like to never got it to come off. So I had it on there very, very well. It's just this flange is so rusty right here that it's just paper thin, and there's actually some holes, rust holes through it. So I went back there and I blasted it. I have pickled it, blasted this side of it, pickled this side of it, straightened it all the way around. Then I've actually pulled the flange back just a little bit. Then I'm going to clean and prep everything under there again like I had done before, where it's spotless clean, pickle it as well. I've ordered a new gasket for it, so I'm going to put a new gasket on there and then cinch that down, and I'm going to let that set for a day before I put the fluid in it. Do everything I can do to get this thing to seal, and if it doesn't, then we're just going to have to buy another one. So I just hate the thought of it leaking out the bottom of this. The other one had been hit, this had been hit before and damaged the bottom of it. I thought that was all that was going on with it, but once I get it really good and clean here, I can see some of the pits and rust, and that flange is just so thin. So got the gasket ordered. I'm gonna get it on, put this on there and let that set. All right, Murphy, I want to show you what the looks like after I pulled this cover off. All right, so I got that towel in there to keep it any oil from getting on this. I've free cleaned and scuffed all this with a red scuff pad, and then yellow strip adhesive on that all the way around. That's curing, and that hopefully will fix it. It was just leaking right here through that cover. So I just want to show you what the inside of that looks like. It does have clutches in there, so it's got a little limited slipper axle in it, and the gears look good. It really looks good in there. So I'm gonna get this cover ready, and then put it on there. And over here I got your rear cover sitting there getting warm. It's a little cool in here today, so I'm heating that up. And I've sandblasted around it and pickled it and heating it up, and then I'm gonna scuff it and shoot some primer and some new black on it, put new bolts, fasteners in it. So hopefully that thing will stop leaking. But this lip around here is it's real thin. May end up having to get one. It's all rust pitting. It's seen its day of rusting. All right, Murphy, here it is. It's been sitting for a few days now, and I got all your new bolts in. I let this actually set all night before I put the fluid in it, and then filled it up. And that's been sitting there a couple of days with the fluid in it, and it's dry as a chip. Nothing on the ground. So that turned out real nice. I think that's going to hold that without having to buy a new cover. So now I'm going to work on getting your charcoal canister tank installed, and then your USB port installed, and then you'll be ready to come get it. Wrap this thing up. Was waiting on the top to come in, and you called and told me that there's actually no tops available right now. It's having a hard time finding one. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. You can come get it, and then maybe later on we can get a top and get a new top put on it. It's been a lot of hassle trying to come up with this top, but I wouldn't thought it'd been so difficult on this vehicle. But hopefully that'll work out. And then your charcoal canister, I fabricated just a little mount out of 1-inch flat stock, and pickled it and primed it and painted it. And I'm gonna mount that in the back, and then get your USB port mounted under the dash, and then you can come get this thing and hopefully find you a top, bring it back, and we'll get it put on for you. So let's get you wrapped up.